questions and cool things and stuff. It's the
Harley and Josh Show. iTunes on my bed. Listen to Harley. Ooh, I feel good. Hi, Harley.
Hello, mate. How are you doing?
Hello. It's so fun to try and sing along together when we're in each other's beds in different places.
Yeah.
So I'm in your bed. You're in my bed.
Yes. This is
Being musical.
we're doing it COVID style.
Well, you've got a load of birds with you, haven't you?
Oh, yes. So we've rescued a new bird. Her name is Sasha.
Ooh.
Her
name is Sasha. Good.
She's an Alexandrian parakeet, and
Ooh.
she's very nervous at the moment. She's still getting used to her surroundings. So, but she is in the room with me. So if you hear any loud squawks, that's actually a good sign because it means she's starting to settle down.
Oh, that's cool. I thought you were getting a galah.
We were looking at getting a galah or a cockatoo, but given the current situation, they're not easy to get hold of without traveling a long distance. And we're like, now let's not go out, let's not do unnecessary travels. And it just so happened that little Sasha here needed rescuing. Her family couldn't quite cope and look after her and give her the attention she needed during this time. So
Well, if you've just tuned in, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the new Netflix series, The Parrot King, with Harley Cotton.
I am the Parrot King.
Yeah, so living with that goddamn Carol Baskin.
I haven't seen that yet. I really want to watch it though. Apparently, it's
daft.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's an insane thing for insane times, right? So, Harley, what have you been doing?
Not a lot, really. Sitting around the house. Really.
Why is that?
Well, there's this thing currently happening called a lockdown.
Oh, I thought that was just for me.
Oh, no, it's me too. I think they're just trying to get rid of musicians.
Culling.
Yes.
A much-needed culling of us all.
Apparently, just before we came on, Charlie told me the news of how there was a couple of... what are they called? House parties that had to be broken up just last night, which is
so daft, isn't it?
Absolutely insane.
I know they're called what are they called, self-isolation house parties or something like that. Is that what you? No,
no, it's silly. I don't want to get too preachy on this, but stay at home, please. I want to get back to my life as soon as possible, and every time you leave the house, that slows that progress down,
Absolutely, and there's still definitely going to be like a douchebag with an acoustic guitar singing Wonderwall there, and
on every corner,
just giving musicians a bad name. It's just what happens to every single party.
Yes, always. Well,
but musically, you've been doing some logical things, have you?
I have indeed, yeah. So what we're currently recording on is Logic. Is this what you usually use for recording yourself, Josh?
Yes, it is, all the time. I haven't used anything else since college when we did a bit of Pro Tools. After that, I was always learning on Logic. See,
I've always been on the Pro Tools train. I say always, I haven't. I've jumped from various different doors. I've used almost all of them. Apart from the new Luna that's just been announced, but I haven't got the setup to try that one out yet.
Who makes that? Do you know?
Good question. I don't. Oh, it's Universal Audio. It's their.
Oh,
it's their
okay.
door. So it's a really high
That's gonna be
quality
good.
with a load of built-in plugins ready to go. So it's really designed to
good loops in there and stuff, aren't there?
Yeah. So it's that's interesting, and I've got a few friends trying that. So I can't wait to see what their opinion on it is. But so I've been, my main computer is at my parents' house, and that has everything ready to go on it. And I was like, I need to record on this. I've been using Reaper, but last week Logic announced that
that's free, isn't it?
Reaper is free for the first 60 days. And then it's only £60, I think, to buy the whole thing. £69 or $69.
Right. So it's not like a subscription thing.
No, which is good. I don't like subscription-based things. But Logic have released a 90-day free trial. And I was like, well, I've never really used Logic. Let's give it a go.
Hello. Yeah.
And I've had a lot of fun with it. It comes with loads of really, really good quality plugins, virtual instruments. that just sound so good straight out of the box.
The loops are good as well. Like there's different drum beats that you can get that you're just like, this is somebody's recorded this really well.
Yeah.
So I don't need to worry. And it's also got that drummer program, which I keep going on about all the time.
Yeah, I haven't tried any of that. See, I'm very much in the MIDI world, and I've got myself a couple of MIDI keyboards here with me, which I've been using more than ever before. I've been working.
But the great thing about the drummer program is that you'll have your drummer track, you'll create a drum track that you like. That's close enough, and then if you drag that onto a MIDI channel, then you can reorganize it. So it's got the velocities of a real time drummer. So nice sort of soft snare hits, ghost notes, soft kick. It kicks just before the beginning of the bar, and then you can drag it in and then move it around to make it sound a bit more like how you want to follow the bass, etc.
That's really cool. All right, I will have a little experiment on that when I. To be fair, the song I've been working on most is literally kick and hi-hat all the way through.
Oh, that's fine.
So I've taken it, having it fairly easy in that regard.
That's great.
It's mostly the piano that I'm playing, but I'm plugging it into our electric piano, so we've got a full scale of piano and playing it very badly and quantizing it afterwards.
Are you doing MIDI in? Oh, right, yes, of course you are, yeah.
Yeah. So so that's been a lot of fun. I've been absolutely blown away by the quality of the sounds. The organ sound on there is amazing. I don't know if you've played around much with that. But
not really. I'm trying to think of what
it's really, really rich sounding, really great sound. You even get the click from the valves on it that sound really good. And the other thing I'm really enjoying is the mellotron as well. It's really, really realistic in the way it sounds,
isn't it? Yeah, and you get some really great spinning speakers with the organ as well, don't you? Yes, I do. I have used that, and you can place the mic at a specific place next to the cabinet, which is really interesting as well. Yeah,
it's really cool. I mean, I haven't even begun to scratch the surface of what can be done with it, but I'm having a lot of fun with it, and it's really just really simple and easy to use. Getting used to the shortcuts is always a bit of a new learning experience when you go from any program to another.
Absolutely. I think you just got to make loads of mistakes. Like the amount of times that I've figured out the shortcuts from me just recording stuff and just doing it wrong. So figuring out the whole Command Z, and press R to record, and then just finding ways to do it really quickly because you're just getting frustrated with yourself.
Yeah, that's the first thing I find with any program is what is the button to hit record. And it's usually either Control R or just R. I know Pro Tools is the star button. No, Pro Tools is number 3, and Cubase is the star button. There we go.
Interesting. I was I'm not. But the thing is, because it changes. I've never really messed around with the shortcuts, so I'm pretty certain they're stock. But other people have told me that they've got completely different ones, and they haven't touched it. But I've always found that K was click and C was the loop. So there we go.
Yeah, being able to turn the click on and off is very useful because that's one of those things. But that said, the layout of it's very simple for finding out where things are. Just clicking on the picture that looks like a metronome and stuff like that.
Have you found that it's really good for songwriting? Better than Pro Tools, because that's what I've found.
Yeah, Pro Tools is a recording interface for sure, definitely, because I haven't done a lot of mixing on this, but I can imagine mixing I would probably lean to Pro Tools for if I had a system for it. However, with this, it's cool, right, want to put some organ on there. I load up an organ there, and you don't have to mess around with it for it to sound good. It sounds good, but there's still loads of scope to kind of change how it sounds. I've got the Helix to do any guitar sounds on it, so nice. Yeah, that's been good. And I followed your advice. You were talking last week about impulse responses on acoustic guitar, and that's really good. So I've got a really nice, natural sounding acoustic guitar.
That's great.
Built in with my system now, which is great.
That helps, doesn't it? It's just the thing, because with acoustic guitar, it can be very tricky to get exactly the right mic placement. And if you've got just a good impulse response, all you got to do is just plug in an electric guitar and you're sorted, aren't you?
Yeah. I've been doing it with an acoustic guitar, and it sounds really good as well.
Oh, interesting.
It still has that openness to it.
It does. Still jangly.
Nice and jangly.
Technical term.
I don't have any mic. I've only got this mic we're talking into now to get the sound. Just a Shure SM58.
Yep.
So I don't really have a lot of options in terms of microphones, like condenser mics or anything like that. So,
Where are most of your mics at the moment? Are they at your parents?
They're all in the lockup, I think. I've got a few
yeah.
at home, but most of them are locked. So they are
Locked up in lockdown.
I can go to Ipswich and get them without seeing anyone, but again, I'm trying to stay at home as much as possible and not kind of
Be part of the problem.
Yeah, that's it. You know, I know I will at some point during this have to go to the unit because there will be things I need to be able to actually do some kind of work. I know the band have got some need to do some bits so we can kind of prepare for when gigs get started again.
We're talking Chart Attack here?
Yes, yeah. We're looking to do some recording and stuff in the meantime, and we've got some equipment for recording for the rest of the guys that they might need. So I may do a little drop off and leave stuff on their doorstep or whatever at some point, just so we can all have a home office set up.
So your writing stuff and recording stuff, has it been like a mixture of your stuff and Charlie's stuff? Has it mostly been your stuff? Has it mostly been Charlie's stuff? What's been the kind of priority?
It's been a mixture of everything, really. I mean, I would say there's been a priority towards Charlie's stuff, but that's because she's a much better writer than I am. So,
well, she's got a lot of stuff that's finished, at least.
She can have a song started and finished a lot quicker than I can. So, and also I find it a lot easier to work and produce someone else's music. So she came to me with a song. This was a while ago, and we put some chords to it. And I was just messing around on Logic, and I was like, what's a good song to start with? So I was working on this song and built it up, and I'm really happy with how
channels
it
you got?
Right, so there's kick drum, there's 2 acoustic guitars, 1 electric guitar, there's piano, an organ, and strings. I need to put a shaker in there at some point, but there's no shaker instruments, so I've been looking around the kitchen for packets of things that I can make a shaker out of, just to kind of make something work at least.
Just get a Pringles tin.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering whether I could either use. I've got a vitamins packet, but it's a little bit mid-heavy. I want something.
You're right next to the beach. You can get some sand nice and easily.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking like a coffee. I've got some coffee granules. They might in the glass, something like that.
And they're useful afterwards.
Yeah. Also, we have got Sasha's Sasha the bird. Just so anyone doesn't know her name.
Oh yeah.
She's got
a concubine. Yeah.
She's got lots of sesame seeds. So if I can find something to put those into, I think they might make a good shaker.
They really would. Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that's it. Like that's the game at the moment is using stuff around your house to make stuff happen.
Absolutely. Have you been doing any teaching?
I haven't. No, I've kind of been stepping back. I only had a couple of students who were, and they've decided they're not going to have lessons. In the meantime,
For the virtual thing.
Yeah. So
I've had the same thing.
Which is, to be honest, it's okay because like I think if you're gonna do teaching in this, like if you're gonna go down that rabbit hole of doing it, it's worth it if you're going to be doing it every day. I don't necessarily want to be doing that kind of thing every day. So I was like, well, there's no point.
Yeah, because you have to constantly tidy the house because they can see your house.
Yes, yeah. Also means you have to get dressed.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. I have been trying to get dressed,
into
actually.
A thing.
Yeah.
Good.
I think it's quite important to have some sort of routine. We're lucky because we got Sasha now, so we're having a routine of getting her kind of settled and her safe, like comfortable. So we have to get up at a normal time and go to bed at a normal time.
What colour is Sasha?
She is green and red, apparently.
Ooh, apparently.
Yeah, so she is. Yeah, she's she's a cousin of the Indian ringneck, and she is all green as far as I can see. But apparently she has got red on her feathers, on her wings, but I can't see.
Or like on the tips or something.
I wouldn't know.
Or just a tinge.
I'm too colourblind to know these things.
I know.
She has got a red beak though. I can see the red beak. But
there we go. That's good. Yeah, because you are like slightly colourblind, aren't you? It's like not completely gone, but yeah, I've had a similar thing. Was it the Ishida test? We've talked a bit about this.
The dots.
The dots, yeah,
yes.
And I can't see them.
Yeah, So I think I see 27% of colours. to normies.
I actually don't know normies, muggles.
Yeah.
I don't know any. Yeah, I haven't seen what kind of percentage I do. Did they tell you that at the doctors when you did your?
It's the
sort
type
of
of colourblind I am. I think you're
Right.
red green. I think you might be the same as me. So you probably see you're the same red green colourblind.
I think you're right.
So yeah, you are seeing 27% of colours.
But I mean, does anybody see 100%?
I don't know. Like apparently
I'm just thinking
birds.
that's probably only like bees or whatever.
There's a thing like birds see like 120% because they see colours that we can't see. They can see UV.
Oh yeah, that's fair enough. Oh, so it is 100% of our spectrum that we
Yeah,
can see, not
yeah.
just all spectrums. Okay, yeah, it's like
No.
yeah, I could have seen it be 20% of colours, yeah, but like 20% of it is infrared. So
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I can see my remote control working.
That's a good. Oh, here's a little life hack. If you don't know if your TV remote's working, get the camera out on your phone, point the remote at your camera, and you'll see it flash.
Weird.
Try that when we're done. It's
Yeah.
a good way to know if your batteries are working.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, or if you just like you've got your foot in the way or
Yeah.
something, that's just I'm constantly doing.
That's it.
Nice
Or
one.
if you put your candle in front, like your little Yankee candle in front of the sensor, which I've done before.
That's a good idea. What?
As in,
So
I accidentally put it in front of the sensor.
Oh, I see. I thought
Yeah.
I thought you were like, here's a way of figuring it out. I was like, oh, this is smart because he's using fire and fire gives off infrared and but no, it's just you got it in the way of the TV.
When fire is an option, always use fire.
It always used fire. Burn it all. Harley,
Yes.
what's your favourite musical moment from last week? Would you say?
My favourite musical moment, it was just so this is what was happening, right? Charlie was playing games with her friend online, so I had my headphones in playing music.
What kind of games?
I've no idea. She did tell me Gary's Mod or something like that. She's a nerd.
Right.
And I was playing around with Logic, my new toy, and I plugged into the piano and I turned on the Mellotron and I hit a chord and I just went, "Oh my god!" And Charlie turned to me, he's like, "What? And I'm like, "It sounds amazing." She's like, "Oh, such
I
a
found
nerd."
the chord.
Yeah,
the chord of destiny.
It was just such a cool sounding like thing that just blew my mind of like a cool because I haven't had a lot of good experience with Mellotron virtual synthesizers, virtual instruments, and this just sounded so cool and good and creepy
I think
and
there
all the
is
best
a
things.
way of sending settings to people, isn't there? So I'd really
okay.
like to know that. So because you can save them as files. So if you've got that preset, you save it as a file. It will save it into the folder of the plugin that you're working from.
Yeah.
And then you can send that over. And if once you get the other person gets it, they put it in the same folder. And when they've got the drop down menu for that plugin, then it will show up on theirs. So I'd like to know because I've not done that before. I'd like to see if I can work that with you because I've not really played around with the Mellotron. So.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I just opened up the Mellotron straight out of the box. I think it was the R sound, the male choir sound.
Oh,
Where literally goes.
the Pavarotti patch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice, Harley. All right, what was your favourite musical lesson from last week? Would you say?
Ooh, I haven't done a lot of learning, if I'm honest.
Well, you just sort of learn as you go, didn't you?
Yeah. I think just I think just learning piano. I've been playing a lot more piano and getting that sort of stuff, and just like learning how different ranges of a piano are different to different ranges of a guitar, because the richness and the tones and the overtones they meld very differently to what a guitar does. So I've been kind of like learning to kind of arrange piano parts. So that's been a good
great,
lesson
yeah.
for me.
Yeah, it's dislocating your hands from each other because on a stringed instrument, one of your hands is usually the rhythm hand and the other hand is the melody hand. They both work for the same job, but they've got completely different jobs. Whereas on the piano, they're pretty much both doing the same type of movement.
Yeah.
So trying to dislocate them from each other and being able to isolate one hand over the other is tough. So I've never really really been able to crack that.
I was doing maybe 2-3 fingers at a time, and they're just overdubbing the other hand most of the way through. So I can't
can play
say
it in C.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, that's another thing I was trying to do. I did try and play a song. Charlie was playing guitar, and I was playing piano. And she was like, "Cool, let's play this song. It's in C sharp." I was like, "Oh,
No, transposes your friend.
yes, yeah." I couldn't get there in time, but yeah. Anyway, man, like, tell us. I don't. Enough about me. What about you?
Enough
what have
about
you been
me,
up to?
more about you. Jingle time. Well, okay, so I'm still kind of reeling from the Lockabilly's live stream that I did
Yes.
last Saturday. The Lockabilly lockdown. I can't believe that's almost a week ago. Where'd that go? But yeah, it was. So basically, I'd had the idea because everybody's been doing these live streams, and I felt a bit late to it. We were talking about this last week, weren't we?
Yeah.
That we were kind of like, don't get left behind. You've got to adapt to this new landscape, and it's a very digital landscape. And so many people across the globe had already started doing these, live streams. And if there's a lot of people that had been doing it long before this, and they're kind of already on the way when this all happened. So they were like, okay, I've already figured out how to get people to donate to me and give tips and stuff, which I can tell people about that a bit later on during our sort of news section. So we called it the Lockabilly Lockdown. I can't lock was spelt with an E because puns.
Definitely.
And I definitely got the idea from my mother. I will have to say that because she's the queen of puns. I
Yes.
mean, her name is Laura Lock, and it's Lockabilly Lockdown. I was like, there's so many L's here, it's ridiculous. But the idea came from because we did the Her Loving music video shoot 2 years ago now, and that was for Age UK Suffolk, and I was just sort of doing a bit of research and found out that there was about 17,000 older people living in Suffolk at the moment that are just not getting any contact at all. They may have Alzheimer's, they may have dementia, and families can't go and visit them. They may be able to give them a call every once in a while, but you know how it goes. It's sometimes you just can't do it, and some of these people don't have families at all. So what they were doing was a good day call appeal, which is basically they have people that call up anybody that's in need of just a friend, just to some kind of respite from the loneliness, and they'll just talk to them, ask them how they're feeling, talk through any problems, give them any solutions, and just give them some company. And it costs about £25 a month, I believe, for one person to have a call regularly, so that they can just feel connected a bit more. And so they put a donation page up on Age UK for the gig, which was linked through Facebook, and they sort of put the thing as about 100 quid. I was like, that if we raise 100 quid, I'll be really happy about that, because that's 4 people that get a call this month. And in the end, we had about 350 people watching, and we raised £1,000. We raised £1,000 for Age UK. It was crazy.
That's
Absolutely
amazing.
crazy.
That's so good.
Right, I'm still reeling from that. I mean, I haven't done the maths, but I'm trying to think about how many people will benefit from that, and how many people's lives it will because of the good work that people are doing in Age UK. These people will be happier, and
Quick
that's kind
maths.
of what we want right now, isn't it?
At least
You're doing quick
40
maths.
people a month, I believe.
At least 40 people a month. Thank you for that,
That's so
because
good.
that's crazy. I love that. I really love that. It was an interesting thing. So I set it up so I had my EV ELX top speaker, same one that you've got, haven't I? We got the same ones, haven't we?
Yes.
Yes. Actually, no, they're slightly different. Actually, have you got ZLX or ELX?
Good question. I don't know.
I think
we've got the
you've
same
got
subs.
the ELX, and I've got the ZLX. We've got the same subs, haven't we? And I think
Yes.
they're the ELX subs.
That's it. Yeah.
And so I had I used Thank You, because I used your HX effects. I went straight from that into the back of the speaker.
Yeah.
And then I had my mic just going straight into the back of the speaker. Then there's just a 1/4mm jack input in there for any MP3s and stuff like that. So I put Frankie's laptop through that because my laptop was filming.
Yeah.
I put Frankie's laptop for that, for all the backing tracks that I'd queued up, and then just put a 57 in front of that speaker, put that straight into my Focusrite, and then that was going straight through the Facebook Live. Now, it kind of worked.
Yeah.
The problem is most people found that it was only coming in mono and only coming in through like the left speaker, because obviously I'm only using one mic.
Yeah.
So in future, if I do it again, people have asked me to do it again. I think I will, but I'll probably do a 57 and a condenser, just to sort of like, so that it's definitely both coming through.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, it was probably it's very tough to mix it, because obviously what's going into Facebook, it will give you like a little meter reading just to say that you've got input, but you've got no way of mixing it and knowing what people are going to hear on the other side. So it was a learning curve. There were a lot of people sitting there going, turn it up in the first sort of like 5-10 minutes, or turn the backing track up, or put a low pass on this. And I'm like, I can't do any of that. I can literally turn it up or turn it down. That's all I got. So yeah, it was good. The backing track situation was funny because I didn't want to just do it acoustic, because a Lockabilly's gig is supposed to be high energy and it's supposed to be dancey, and it's quite difficult to do that with an acoustic guitar and nothing else.
Yeah.
So I just got some the least cheesy backing tracks I could, because some of them, just the MIDI saxophone on them was just that like trying to do Tequila. Tequila. It just sounds awful. So yeah, it was a good learning curve. Nice to set up the spare room, trying to get a black backdrop up there and find some space to have a dance around. Big shout out to Frankie, because she was there reading the comments for me and let me know who was there and who had donated and any shout outs and just sort of requests that were coming in. Most of the time was the request was stop talking, play some music. So
that's not nice.
Well, that's what I'm for, innit? So luckily, so that was great. I just want to thank everybody who tuned into that and donated, because they've made people's lives better, and they made me feel better. Those people just, I've been sitting there feeling a bit useless. I mean, when you're a live musician and not able to do gigs, you just feel like you've got kind of no purpose a bit. So, people just watching and giving encouraging words and just enjoying themselves, sending pictures and videos of them dancing around with their kids and their pets in their pajamas was just amazing. So thanks, cool. Everybody. So I had all the video stuff set up, and Lily from the Meths, MEFFS, we've played them on the show before.
Yeah.
Lily from Horrible Dolphins of Colchester. They're doing a sort of quarantine music video, and so the song that we played on the Harley and Josh show, which was Get Real. It was all about fake news and just not sharing stuff on Facebook if you don't actually know if it's true or not. Which I think is great during the coronavirus crisis, because the amount of people sitting there going, yeah, if you drink bleach, you'll be fine. That's not true.
And it is caused by 5G.
Yes, of course, 5G bleach. So the anti-5G bleach, that's what you need. So yeah, basically they've just been asking people to record videos for it. So while I had all that stuff set up, I had all the lights and everything, and just recorded me jumping around and like a loon for the Get Real Meths video. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I've signed all the releases. I don't know when that's coming out. What else have I been doing? Oh yeah, the Lockabillys are doing some covers at the moment. We're doing sort of like modernish songs in our rockabilly stylings.
That's cool.
So it's so funny. It's just so funny. So we wanted to release that as soon as possible, just for something for people to smile at. And so we did one very fun, famous like alt rock song, and we've done it in the style of Johnny Cash. And what was really, really fun was because I've done so much Johnny Cash stuff in the past, but I haven't recorded in the style of Johnny Cash for years, to be honest. And it was great to just get back into watching YouTube videos of him, listening to live recordings of him, listening to studio recordings of him, and really trying to get that Arkansas drawl out of it, and really trying to get a little bit of the waver that's going on in his voice, and trying to mimic that.
That's really good. That sounds great.
It's really fun. I mean, especially using the comp stuff on Logic. Have you used the comp stuff on Logic so far?
No.
It's really interesting. So when you record over the top of a region that you've already got, it automatically puts it into sort of take 1, take 2, take 3.
Oh no, yes, I have used that. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
used to calling it something else from Pro Tools, but yes, I used that whilst recording bass for another.
What do you call it in
track,
Pro
actually.
Tools?
It's called playlists.
Playlists. There we go.
Yeah.
So yes, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, and it's so being able to sort of blend different takes together it was great, because I'd sort of get one take where I'd get a specific syllable sounding perfect, very Johnny Cash-esque, but right after that I would hear my own voice slipping through too much. So then I'd find another take where I'd just nailed it, So it was like knitting together an impression. It's really strange. But I got it as close as I could, I think, just for people to sort of listen and think, is that Johnny Cash? I don't know, is it?
That's cool.
It'd be strange if it was. But yeah, I mean, it could have, because it was released before he died. So people might be going, "Oh, this is a unfound recording or whatever." So that was fun. What else have I done? Oh yeah, I've been for my students that I've been doing the online lessons for. I'm doing them most days of the week, and I've been getting them to do exercises, because that's the thing. Is like, I don't know, they've got to be practicing every day, and well, they've got time to be practicing every day. So I tell them, you've got at least 15, 20 minutes every day, at least, get it going. And I'm like, because otherwise your fingers are just going to start losing their muscle memory. I'm doing, quote marks here.
Yeah.
And you start to get a bit lethargic. So I've been giving them speed exercises. My first one I've been doing is just going, it's the classic where you go 1, 2, 3, 4 frets and then going all the way up the strings, and then rising and going, going up a fret and then reversing it, and then trying to work the way up, kind of like, going up the stairs, going down the stairs, but all the way up the fretboard. Just doing that for like a minute or two just before they start playing, because I'm like, it's warming up your fingers. Before you do a workout, you warm up. You do dynamic stretches and stuff like this. You'll do something just to get the blood flowing. So it's exactly the same thing, and it also does the same thing with your brain as well. Because if you're trying to do fast sections but you haven't warmed up, it's just kind of like waking up and trying to do arithmetic. You're like, oh. So yeah, I've been getting to do that. I've been doing a whole tone scale with him as well. So that's quite fun to sort of work out the first finger, second finger, and fourth finger. Because if you go to frets 1, 3, and 5 and use your first finger, second finger, and fourth finger, and then climbing up another tone but going up a string. So it's going 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, 6, 3, 5, 7, 4, 6, 8. And then you have to skip, because you have to go up to the B string. So it goes 6, 8, 10, and you go 7, 9, 11. And it works again like stair stepping, and it's a great way to work out the fingers and get them going in time with each other, doing these big stretches, and realizing where your thumb placement's supposed to be. So getting them doing that has been really fun, and seeing that a lot of I'm teaching from sort of 6 years old upwards, and most of them can get it. It's like, you think, oh, it's a whole tone scale, it's going to be really strange for them, but it's not. They've really nailed it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Just getting them doing that, then doing their scales, and then you can do your song. Then you can practice a song you want to do. Then you can have a little, a little strum around with whatever you want. Then what else have we doing? Oh yeah, one more thing. I did Moorland Primary School. I've been working with the key workers kids, just kind of basically being a chaperone, really. I mean, I'll do half of the day I'll be doing musical stuff, but the rest of it will be playing like tops trumps, or we'll be getting them doing a treasure hunt, or we'll be doing crafty stuff with them. I got them to make one of those magic wallets. Do you remember the ones that like one side is like an X, the other side is like and you put a card in and then it switches sides when you open it up? Do you know what I mean? It's kind of it's funny.
Oh yes, yeah, I know the one.
I mean?
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called. Just like a magic wallet. And that was really fun. Just getting them just blowing their own minds. I'm like, stick this bit there, stick that bit there, then put this together. What colours do you want? All right, we'll merge those together. Doing sticky back plastic and all that sort of stuff. Here's one I made earlier. And by the end of it, they're just blowing their own minds. How am I doing this? I don't understand myself. So that's basically been my week in a nutshell. In a musical nutshell. I've been quite proud of how the kids have been pulling themselves through it, and how they're actually listening to me this time.
Yeah, that's it. Awesome, man.
Thanks, dude.
Well,
Thanks, dude.
It sounds like you've had a good week. Have you been doing anything more on your videos that you said you've been doing some filming? I don't know, or anything.
Yes.
Are they quick instructables essentially?
Absolutely, my minute masterclasses. They're coming. I'm just it's such a slog that
editing sucks.
Editing is so unfun that I'm just like, I really have to push myself to do it. And so instead, I've just been working on my solo stuff and recording and random songs and just coming up with random riffs and beats instead, because I find that really fun. But yeah, sometimes the job that needs to be done needs to take priority over the job that is very fun.
Yeah. So yeah, hey, you got time to do that, and
Absolutely.
it's one of those things is like, which is a blessing and a curse, that it's one of those things that'll be ready when it's ready. There's no it doesn't have to be ready for this summer. It doesn't have to be, when it's done, it's done. You can put it out there, but at the same time, because you've got that, you don't. There's no deadline.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. I need to fix a deadline. Really, I really should release it before everybody leaves the house.
Oh yeah, that.
That's what I should do, because that's when people are going, oh yeah, I'll have a look online and see if I get some instructables.
Well.
Yeah.
Heyo. So what's been your favourite musical moment of this week then?
Ooh, favourite musical moment.
I think I know what it is.
Good question. Well, go on. Tell me your guess.
Well, I'd assume it would be your live stream.
Yeah, that was exactly it. It was just afterwards was just euphoric. It was I couldn't. It was just the outpouring of love for other people. I got a lot of love for me from people, and then there were just outpouring of love for people that need it. The loneliness, and there were people just chatting in the comments. It was like a swan gig. From back in the day when we used to play there every month. It would just be like the same people that would just be hanging out, having a pint, and just having a dance. It was like you could kind of just see what they were talking about. It was really strange.
Oh,
and
awesome.
there was interesting thing. I sort of wrote down kind of my thoughts on it. Was because the ideal show when you've just finished a set and then people are like, wah, wah, oh my god, you can hear like a big a big cacophony of noise. But when you're on you can only catch the odd shouted sentence from fans at a live show, it's all right, well done.
What you want to do is in your backing track add a canned applause. Just to make it seem real.
The classic stock sound one. But that's the thing, because online people can type out their emotional responses. You can see their thoughts flashing up on the screen. It's a completely different type of intimacy. It's like you're looking out of the crowd and just saying, thank you specifically, oh, thank you, and then just leaving a little reaction to them as you're going along. Yeah. So that was interesting, really interesting.
Nice. We're just having a delivery coming in, just heads up.
Ooh, good. A delivery of parrots.
Yeah, just the parrots food.
Is that a word for the collection? It's a parliament of owls, a murder of crows, and a delivery of parrots.
Sorry, say that again. I'm being distracted.
You don't want me to say it again because it's nonsense.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to sign for this. Can we just pause for a second?
Yeah.
And I'm back. Sorry about that. Had to do all the signing and stuff.
Deliver for parrots. Sign for the parrots.
I had to sign for the parrots. Parrots are very bad at writing, so
I really want to see. I'm picturing it, but I really want to see it.
I'll try and get a selfie with her.
With a pen in the hand.
I can get her holding a bit of apple. She loves her apple, but a pen may be a challenge. Hence why I had to sign for it.
Are we talking about Charlie or the parrot here?
Parrot. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Charlie can't write at all. No, we already know she can.
That's what so listeners, this is our new game, right? When you're listening to Harley say she, you got to play Charlie or parrot.
Yeah.
Play Charlie or parrot. Who's he talking about?
Charlie is loving the fact that she's no longer the only girl in the house because there is 4 boys.
Ooh.
And now 2 girls. So
they're all birds.
One of them's a hamster.
oh, crikey! Yeah,
yeah.
Boisterous old boy.
Anyway, so what's your favourite musical? What musical lesson? What have you learned this week?
What have I learned? That is a very good question. I don't really know. I think what I've learned is just more about the live streaming thing. Having having that experience of doing it with a lot of viewers straight away, and knowing that there was some things I could have done better, some things that I did well, but I've got to focus on the things that I can do better for the next one. I think the next one I might do a short one tomorrow, just for fun.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be asking people to donate because nobody's got any cash at the moment. And I think if I push my luck after we've just raised $1,000 and I'm asking people for more money, I think it'll be a bit like just leave people alone, let them do their thing. But I'm going to ask people that if they are enjoying it, just to buy a t-shirt. Buy a t-shirt, buy a CD, because they're a $5. So nice and easy, right? Nice and easy.
And I think a good message to have actually, which is something you've kind of capitalized on with the HQ is make a phone call up some family members, some friends that you haven't spoken to, just make sure that they're all right,
Definitely.
Because there's a lot of people who are home alone, and a lot you may not think about them because they're always out socializing and they've had that taken away from them.
Yeah, and they're actually, at home they're very lonely. But that's why they're out all the time, is because they live on their own.
Yeah,
it's been quite nice to just talk cool bandmates and not talk about music.
Yes,
just being like, they're like, okay, what do we need to do? I'm like, nothing. I just want to know how you are.
Love you, Murray.
Love you. Right. So cool. Harley.
Yes.
This week, all the news seemed quite, I don't know, samey. Yeah, it was just lots of different companies worrying about whether they're going to go under. Streaming royalties are kind of on the up, but they feel like they've actually taken a dip because of people at home constantly streaming music. They're like, okay, I'm going to be watching Disney Plus now instead or whatever. So Spotify has noticed a drop in their usual listening numbers, because like you say, with your podcasts. You were saying this earlier that you listen to podcasts mostly when you're driving.
Yeah, they're stacking up for me.
Yeah, of course. And it's the same thing with music. People are just usually will be on their commute and they'd be listening, and rather than just having it on around the house. That's what I'm not sure if I told you this already, but I bought a new needle for my vinyl player, and so I've introduced Frankie to vinyl, and she's just having it around the house all the time. But that's obviously not transferring into streaming stats, so people might be doing that a lot more. So
I've been going out of my way to listen to music.
Good.
Because, like I say, again, another thing is we go through songs that we're doing a lot of writing. We're in a very musical house, but we're not consuming music like we would. So I'm trying to put music on when I do the washing up or when I'm doing not when doing hoovering. You can't hear anything. But, when doing housework, it's good to when you're acting
like Freddie Mercury with your mustache on.
I did actually do.
Yeah, of course you did.
I went to do hoovering the other day, and Charlie was in the room, so I cast my my music onto the Google Home thing, put on Queen, and just danced into the room, and she was like, "What are you doing?"
Very nice. I can imagine the pout and everything. If you could Photoshop, or at least get a picture of that, I would really appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Good. So yeah, what I thought we could do is just do a general state of the music industry right now, and talk to people about how it's probably going to affect the business of music throughout all this. Have you got the notes that I sent you, my friend?
Are they on the Trello?
Yes, they are. Trello.
Let's have a look. I loaded it all up, and then I just didn't do anything with it.
That's fair enough.
Okay.
Well, so just going to I'll start this off with a statistic. Is that approximately in the UK, about 72% of those who work in the music industry are self-employed. So if you think about all the sort of like the company furloughs, the government schemes of giving you 80% of your wage up to $2,500, 72% of the music industry will not be affected by that because of the self-employment thing. Now they have come out with having that figure a grant by the end of well, I think it's the beginning of June or the end of June.
End of
that
June,
it
I
will-
believe. Yeah.
Right, so it's 80% based on your previous tax year, which is like the basic self-employment thing, but it's using quite sort of blunt objects to sort of for surgical precision. So it's not quite been lauded by the music industry just yet. Have you had any luck with any more sort of grant things, etc.?
No. Where was I last week with Universal Credit? I got a little money from Universal Credit, which they are helping people who are self-employed. That's about as far as I've got, really. I've started applying or looking for how to apply for this grant in terms of the government. And I don't think there's much action required from our account, from our
We
point
can't
of
really
view.
do anything.
So it's just a case of I'm making sure my tax return's done, because this has been a record year for me. So if they're basing it on last year's, it's now next year, because we're in April. So I'm hoping they'll factor in my good year.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Fingers crossed. I doubt it. Because I'm sure they'll find a way around it.
Absolutely, but it just goes to show the amount of kind of the focus and thought that musicians will have to be thinking about in this kind of time. I've been reading an article from the Independent, and it talks about Mark David, who's the CEO of the Music Venues Trust. They represent 670 grassroots venues across the UK. And of those, 114 describe themselves as relatively secure for the 8 weeks, which leaves 556 venues under threat of imminent closure. That's 83% of the entire grassroots sector. So this could really damage our music scene. The main problem for these venues is rent, but the government action so far ensures that they can't be evicted. But all that does is defer the eviction order to the day the government changes the rules, basically.
Yeah, that's it. It's I had that conversation with a friend this morning, talking about he's built a climbing wall in his garden.
Oh,
Because he can't go climbing, he's built a climbing wall in his garden. He says, "I really wish you could come around and try, but obviously you can't." And I'm like, it's really annoying, because I want to try and do some sort of pull-ups and stuff, but there's nowhere where my door gym would fit. And he's like, well, he goes, I guess you're renting, you can't drill holes in the walls and stuff like that and put stuff. I'm like, well, they can't evict us, so
yeah, true, yeah.
if my landlord is listening, I won't do that, I promise.
Promise, sure. So venues in the major cities might be at greater risks. Businesses with rateable value of under 51 grand can get access to a small grant of between 10 to 25,000, but businesses worth more than that do not qualify. This means that venues of smaller capacities outside of the M25, for example, will qualify, but those of exactly the same type within will not. So a small 120-seat jazz club with 78 grand rateable value, that looks doomed as things stand, basically.
Right.
Which is hard. Do you want to carry on from here?
Oh, well, no, I haven't been keeping up.
I
can't read.
You can read. I'll just have to put them all in red font.
Yes.
I'll make it
do
worse.
that. Yes. Well, no, I can't find where we are.
So we've got most venue owners.
Most venue owners. There we go. I'm not editing this out, by the way.
Okay.
Most venue owners are either classified as directors of limited companies or sole trading entities, paying themselves by dividends, which means that they don't qualify for self-employment help. Beyond that, they have commitments to loans and their suppliers. So that's
quite a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, they're sort of paying themselves, so they kind of don't qualify for certain things. And like I've got a limited company, but there's no money in it, because I've been leaving it dormant, and so that could end up being, damaging. Yeah. So
I heard a friend of mine I was talking to was saying that he's self-employed, but he set up his self-employment as a limited company rather than a sole trader, which is what we're talking about. So you set yourself up as a company and you give yourself a monthly wage. But the way he's always done it is he gives himself the smallest monthly wage he can, and keep some money in the business. That way, he can invest in the business and and build up as he can. Also helps in terms of taxes. But then because of that, the money that he gives himself, that he's entitled to, his wages, he's only getting 80% of a pittance that he's paying himself.
Oh, of course, yeah, that's interesting.
That kind of, I daren't say it's a loophole or let's say business strategy is not.
Yeah. A noose hole more than anything else.
Yeah, it didn't do well as an idea.
Read on, Harley. I'm interested in your voice.
So over 200 venues have applied for the coronavirus business interruption scheme loan, and so far none of those venues have been successful.
That's mental.
I know, right? They cannot persuade banks, which are not used to dealing with the current cultural sector, that they are a viable risk. What? So these venues that people go to on a day out or a night out, and they not allowed out. That's quite a risk. You know, that's oh no, we're going to be out of money if no one turns up. We've been told we're not allowed to turn. People aren't allowed to turn up.
Yeah,
you know, that's a bit silly.
Yeah, exactly. There's literally nothing they can do.
I have a feeling it'll be a case of, banks are going to try and worm their way out as much as they possibly can.
They will, absolutely, yeah. Because otherwise, I get it. There's going to be a financial crash here. There is going to be a recession.
Yeah.
But I think we should have a recession for the right reason, which is, stopping people from, being destitute and out on the streets. That would be great, wouldn't it?
The ideal, yeah.
Right. So the second major area of concern here is the physical music business, with the large retailers like HMV and independent shops are all closed. And online retailers such as Amazon, estimated to sell around half of physical music products, are in the UK. As well as supermarkets concentrating their efforts on home essentials and not restocking CDs. Sales have fallen sharply. There's been confirmed that sales are down by around 50%, with further falls likely over the next coming weeks. Physical formats remain important for the UK business, though, generating £325 million in the retail spend in 2019. So the physical, there was a lot of sort of hope put into the physical market, like vinyls, because that was kind of saving a lot of independent artists' careers, whereas the streaming industry is quite sapping a lot of money away from independent artists. And so last Wednesday saw the launch of the hashtag Love Record Stores campaign, encouraging music companies and high-profile musicians to pledge support for independent shops. Musicians, artists, actors, and celebrity music fans around the world are being asked to film short video clips of themselves talking about, for example, what independent record stores mean to them, where their favorite store is, what records and artists those stores have helped them discover, and most importantly, to encourage their fans to continue to shop online with their favorite stores wherever possible. I think that's important.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's it. Don't let people forget why those physical, why people buy records, why people buy CDs. So then hopefully when this is over, people can still do that.
Yeah, and in their favorite places, because there'll be some of these, this loneliness thing. There are a lot of vinyl shops and CD shops that will have turned themselves into coffee shops. There's a great place in Watford just called LP, which has got some really good coffee there and some really good records, and you just sit down there and talk to people about it. Vinyl Hunter in Bury St Edmunds is good for that, and you can just sort of just talk to somebody about records and find new stuff. People that are actually informed, the people that work there for a reason. They're not just there because they were looking for any old job. They wanted that job. And so some of these people that go in and shop there, it's their only interaction they might get in a week. So we need to keep these places open.
Definitely.
So Peter Duckworth, who has managed the nation's beloved brand of Now That's What I Call Music.
How much is a Duckworth?
I don't know, a Now CD probably.
Yeah.
Compilation albums, do you remember those? Was it Now?
Yeah.
I think I had Now 98 or something, I can't remember. So for 30 years they've had it, so that physical sales of recent albums, often bought in supermarkets and petrol stations, are already down about 10 to 15%. So it's interesting, isn't it? Because that's quite a big saving grace for physical formats, is those kind of now pop compilations,
Yeah.
not just those ones, but any kind of compilations of current singles, and even
They were the
they're
playlist
down.
of the 90s.
Oh yes, absolutely, yeah, smash hits and all that sort of stuff. Will you read on for us, please, Harley? Read on.
Okay, although pundits, I can read, I promise.
Da 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 da.
Although pundits were initially, I really can't. All right, let's start that again. Woo. Although pundits were initially predicting a rise in streaming music, Taylor says that as yet we are seeing this only to a limited degree on advertising-supported services such as YouTube, but not on music subscriptions, which are more important economically. So basically, that's people are playing music on like YouTube, stuff like that, like music videos and stuff like that, but not buying into more subscription services.
And as we've talked about before, that most of the artists that have music online on YouTube, they haven't actually been consulted as to whether they want that record up there, and it's from somebody who is not linked to the artist, just uploading a song and putting the album cover at the top of it. So they're not making any money at all.
So far, it looks like the boost on home consumption is more directed towards TV and radio. Any increase at home is being counterbalanced by the lack of listening to music during the daily commute, which is exactly what we were saying earlier.
Absolutely.
Of how people are watching more TV. There are loads of really good TV shows and films that are being released straight to streaming services. Disney Plus is doing really well. Stuff
Booming.
like that. Radio seems to be having an increase. I guess people are really liking radio more so.
Definitely.
But I guess anyone who's used to stuff like Spotify and stuff like that, they've already got it. They're not gaining any new customers from those streaming services. So, here's a bit about some radio. So more people than usual have been tuning into the radio. Mike Reed, Formula Radio 1 DJ who now streams shows online with United DJs Radio, says that people really are turning to the familiar voices of DJs like old friends.
Well, it's like us, isn't it? There's people listening to hear us mugs.
Yeah.
I
that's
think
it.
podcasts may be doing quite well in this, I reckon, but there's so many out there.
Definitely. Like I said, I don't know if I mentioned this last week, Sans Pants Radio, their Plus streaming service, which is their premium service, which I buy into. Their servers, over the 5 days of quarantine, went from 50% capacity to 100% capacity.
Ooh.
They ran out of server space of people downloading new material, new podcasts or old podcasts, people going back to hear previous shows, or and because they're like, got nothing to do, might as well listen to some people play D&D.
Absolutely, yeah. Exactly.
I'm going to bring it back to D&D. Always.
Yeah, you got to, haven't you? But I mean, it's the thing, if you live on your own in the house, just having people talking and having fun and laughing in the house really makes you forget, doesn't it?
Definitely.
So it's been acknowledged that radio plays don't translate into many banknotes. Radio stations don't pay artists directly. If people that don't know this, artists must apply to either the Performing Rights Society, the PRS, or the Phonographic Performance Limited, so PPL, to collect their royalties, which vary depending on the listenership numbers for the station. Recent estimates show the PRS was collecting £13.63 per minute for music played on Radio 1. So if you had a song played on Radio 1, if it's 3 minutes long, it's £13.63 times 3, it's about 20, right? It's about £24.27 for Radio 2, which is
£75.
What's that?
That's roughly £75.
Oh, is it? There we
song,
go.
if it's a 3 minute long song. I can quick maths that one. It's easy.
Thanks for your quick maths, Harley. That's what you're here for, mate.
8. Sorry, too quick.
£24.27 per minute for Radio 2 and about £5.25 per minute for Radio 6 music, which is kind of rough because 6 music is like all the independent artists.
It's good music.
Need the cash. Yeah, it's good music on 6 music actually, and they're getting the least rate. So I mean, that's pretty close to what it usually is. For anybody that hasn't got an idea of how performing rights societies work, I mean, there's lots of different collection companies across the world. It's not just PRS. There's lots of different ones for different countries. But for this country, PRS currently pays out about £14 a minute for Radio 1. 6 Music's just over £5, and BBC Music introducing the rate is about 50p to £1 a minute. So again, the stations with the most independent artists are getting the least amount of money.
That's not fair. I mean, it is how it is, and that's how they can only pay what they can pay. But hey, that's a shame.
Exactly. It's like, well, if you think about it, it should be the other way around, because people that are getting Radio 1, Radio 2 plays, most of the time they're going to be pretty big artists, and they're going to be getting a lot of plays over that station over the sort of the playlist period, which is usually about a week. So they'll be getting repeat plays, so they'll be making bank off those tracks. Whereas if you're an independent musician, they might get the song played on the radio once, maybe. So if you've got a higher rate, then you've just got a better chance of making a little bit of money at least.
The question is, obviously they're saying that more people are tuning in, listening to radio. Are those rates likely to increase because of that?
I think that's something that must be lobbied. I don't think that's going to happen. Just automatically, it's going to be something that if people suddenly realise, hey, I'm getting kind of screwed here, let's try and see if we can lobby for this to get sorted.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's carry on for a bit here. So we've got, because of the closure of studios and the cessation of video shoots. Oh, that's a great way of phrasing it. Thank you. Many artists are now delaying album releases until the late summer or early autumn. However, others like Dua Lipa and Pearl Jam managed to put records out last week as scheduled and make their own music videos. Just like we said about the Meths making music videos at home,
Yeah, that's really cool.
So read on the next bit, please, Harley, because this bit's really interesting.
Okay, so via the Stage It site,
There it is.
hey, which combines facets of ticketed gigging and busking by allowing their viewers to purchase pay-what-you-can digital tickets to streamed concerts, whilst also allowing for monetary digital tips paid during the performance. So is this basically a music-based streaming service where people can buy themselves into a show?
Yes.
And if they like what they see, they can give a little bit more, pay a little extra, just to keep these musicians on their feet.
Absolutely, and it's great, isn't it? I mean, that has been going on for quite a while now, and it is great for those artists that are, they do suffer from anxiety and panic attacks, so that going out on a stage in front of thousands is pretty tough.
Okay, yeah.
But what people have found that is, if you want to do that, the best way to do it is to charge a very low entry fee, so 50p, a quid, something like this. And then people can leave tips. So, like, if you're charging 25 quid just to watch the show, you might only make 25 quid because one person is like, okay, well, I'll take a chance. But if you charge 50p to a quid, and then while they're there, they'll donate a tenner, and there'll be a lot more people there, and it just accrues then, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a good way to go.
So that's Stage It. So it's just STAGEIT, all one word. So, for people listening in, I think it's a good idea to check that out. And there was one more point on here which I found quite interesting, which it might also be a great time for aspiring songwriters to send material to big name stars looking for new material while lockdown restricts them from, writing with other people. So, if you are trying to be a songwriter but not a singer, it might be the right time to start sending songs to other, into artists that are slightly more established than you are.
Well, that's a really good idea. Definitely. Yeah.
I know, right?
Well,
So,
you've got all
I have
the
my
ideas.
uses. I have my uses.
Well, that's good.
I know. I mean, there's a lot there. We didn't really have much of a discussion with this, but I think the music industry is definitely going to end up very changed after this. To what degree, we don't really know yet, do we, Harley?
No. It's I say there are a lot of people who are doing a lot of live streams and stuff. Well, should we talk about that actually? Should we go and tell people what people are doing?
Absolutely.
Online?
Let's do
And
the
if you are
gig
doing
list.
The new gig list.
New gig list, online gig list. So yes, we've got a few shout outs to make here, and we love our shout outs on this. We love sort of bringing you guys new music from somewhere you didn't even expect it to come from, East Anglia. So the first one I want to shout out was Underline the Sky. They did a gig last night, didn't they?
Yes, they did. Yeah,
They
I didn't get
did.
a chance to see it, but yeah.
They did a great job. It was only two songs.
nice.
But it was great. That, you know what they
I think
like.
they did name it the world's shortest gig or something.
They did, yeah. But you know, they just got a great banter. They're just nice people. I don't actually know how much they've raised, but they hopefully will do another one. It would be really good if they did another one. So yeah, Bronwyn sang for us. Wasn't that nice? Isn't it nice? So they've got a new single out. They did a cover of Sweet But Psycho. So yeah, check that out if you want to support them, or you know, you can donate to the NHS and tell them Underline the Sky sent you.
Sweet.
I want to give a shout out to Spoonie from Hope Ahead. Old John Parker, he's been the singer from Hope Ahead, has been doing some live streams. He's done quite a few. So if you've checked out Hope Ahead, you should check out their page and watch them live, because they've got some good tunes.
Awesome. Great.
Read on, Harley.
Is there reading on? Oh, is this the gig guide thing?
Yeah,
Cool.
on the top there. Oh, actually, I'm not sure if I've given you that. Okay.
Right.
I apologise, Harley.
I've got a whole list of. I've put a shout out to people asking who are doing live streams. So we can tell people who's doing what and where and when.
Great, do it.
So I'm going to go just in order of the comments. So it's not going to be anything in order. But if you like what you see, just search for them on Facebook or whatever. So Harry Isaac Presley is going to be doing a live stream next Wednesday night. Hi, Simon. He's going to be, so if you check out Harry Isaac Presley or the Hip Operation, he'll be doing that Wednesday night coming.
So it's for St. Elizabeth Hospice as well.
Yes, yeah,
that's
which is great.
He's been great for them, hasn't he?
He's done a lot for them. I think, he's had a family there, and it's a holds a real place to his heart. So it's really good that he's doing that. I had a friend calling out a friend, which is really good. So All or Nothing, a band, they're doing streams quite regularly. I think they do them. I think he said they're
it's like most days of the week, at least once a week. Yeah, they've been shouting it out on BBC Introducing, on their page, because they haven't been doing BBC Introducing. But yeah,
of course,
that's fun.
We have another one. Wow. Okay, here's the thing. Saturday, the 18th of April, the Jersey Busker.
That was close.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Is doing a 6-hour Facebook Live gig.
Wow.
In aid of Mind.
Oh,
that's really cool. And you know what? That's great, because you can just put that on. It's going to be 6 hours. You can catch it. Don't have to go for the whole thing, but just check in, say hi, have it on the background if you need. You know, that'll be really nice.
Shout out to Paul Lindberry then for 6 hours. Good luck with that, mate.
We've got Rob Lewis there. He's just commented saying he's going to be doing one this Sunday at 3 p.m. He's already done one. That was really good. So yeah, he might have done a couple now by the time this comes out.
We were going to give him a shout out as well, because the Colourblind Hedgehogs, they did a music video for their song Virus, didn't they?
Yes,
which is quite funny.
That was with the drummer playing on saucepans and all sorts. So yeah, that they're making light of the fact that they're stuck indoors and really having fun with it.
Coronavirus.
Sophie,
so he's doing one
Top.
Sunday at 3, isn't he? Sorry.
Yes, Sunday 3 p.m. Tallulah Good Times is going to be doing live. Let me read that as before I say it. Is going to be doing a Facebook live stream called Feel Good Electro Swing and Ting. Friday from 8 o'clock.
So that's tonight. So if you are listening to this, it is. That's already happened. But Tallulah will hopefully be doing that again. I think.
And she's great.
We will demand it.
Yes. Jordan Hay is also doing one tonight. In aid of the NHS. So we're gonna. That'll be another 8 o'clock start. Unfortunately, if you're listening, you will have missed that. But you can go. The great thing about Facebook is you can go watch it in post and enjoy it from that.
And the donation pages are always open. So if you do feel like helping out, you always can.
Yeah. So that's
great.
Really good. So let's see. Yeah.
I think that's all. That's it for your post.
That's mine, yeah.
I've got a couple shout outs here. Jeremy Johnson has been doing a lot of live streaming. So he's a good one to know that he's going to be doing something if you really want to see some live music. Nice guy as well. Connor Adams has been, he did a sort of a big group music video, didn't he, for Faith?
He did, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
He's been doing
live. His page.
He's been doing live gigs as well.
Good.
So Pet Needs, they're doing a similar thing as the Mefs, as they did have gigs together, didn't they? Meth Needs. They are doing a quarantine music video, and so I think they might still have some space for you to send in videos. So if you do want to join in on that, you can send in videos of you singing along to Pet Needs songs, or just doing something daft to be in the video, right, at home.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome.
And, Honey and the Bear, wonderful people. Lucy John, they've done some live stuff, so there'll be ones to watch for some more live music at home. Mothership are doing a virtual open mic, which is really interesting. So you join like a Zoom session, and then they sort of mute people, and there'll be a host, and they say, all right, like everybody watch, Gary or Linda, or, and they'll sing and do their open mic stuff, which I think is great.
Awesome.
Phil Jackson has been doing a bunch. I think he's done one today, but there's a bunch out. So he's been doing his original stuff as well as his rock and roll stuff. So that's loads of fun, isn't it?
Cool.
You reminded me of Oscar Charlton.
Yes. Oh yeah, this is a thing that people are doing. So amongst musicians, they're doing a one take of a song of them playing an instrument. So and they get nominated, and then they nominate two people. I've seen a few people doing it, a few different threads of friends sharing that around. So that's going to be really interesting to see more of that going around. So Oscar, what did Oscar do?
Well, he's done loads of those a cappella ones, hasn't he?
Yeah. He's done those as well, yeah.
Yeah, where he's done he's been harmonising with himself. He's doing like Beethoven as well as the Friends theme tune. So it's been really interesting to watch.
Yeah. No, that's people are getting creative.
Absolutely right. So who else? We saw Alex Lenton and Nick Keeble doing the one take, all the mistakes, and they did great. They did great. They did a Prince track. I think Jocelyn Brown. Alex Lenton did a Jocelyn Brown one. Somebody else's guy. That's fun. I like that one. Bad Stone. Do you remember Bad Stone, Harley?
Yes.
The good old doom band featuring Jamie from Punch Studios, and they did a live stream the other night, and I loved it. It was so funny. It was half an hour long, right? And they're a doom band, so it's drums, bass, guitar, and all instrumental. I was like, how are they going to do this? I saw them sort of like, the drums were there, the bass were there, they weren't in the shot. There was just sort of some feedback coming through, and I was like, all right, they're going to start in a bit, and they just didn't start. It was great. They basically just had a bunch of feedback going for half an hour.
That's brilliant.
And there was just Jamie was on it. For anybody who wants to sing along, it's in C. It was amazing. So yeah, check out that as Bad Stone. They're really funny.
Awesome.
Well, Barney Holmes has been doing some stuff, some live music, doing covers, etc. Dan and Michael Lee Harvey have been DJing for people at their usual time slots. They have residencies at clubs all over Ipswich. So if you are used to going to one of their gigs, they're gonna be still DJing for you. So they've got a great list of music for you. Couple more shout outs. Groom Lake have released a new single during the quarantine that's called Titan's Teeth. It's nice and heavy. If you like your hard rock and metal, check out Titan's Teeth by Groom Lake. To the Nines, hardcore band from Ipswich, finally released this EP that I've been badgering about for ages. They've now released that EP. It's all over Spotify, etc. So if you like your heavy stuff. But if you don't know any of these people we've just been talking about, Live Nation have a list of bands that are doing, famous bands that are doing live streams. Elton John, all these kind of people. But also they have been doing specific times where they'll stream videos of a famous concert, or a big concert from last year, from like Slipknot, Metallica, or even pop artists, rap artists, anything. And that's really interesting because it's like programming for live music, and you can watch these big bands and feel like you're at that big concert, especially if you've got a good sound system. So I recommend checking that out.
Sweet. Okay, man. Awesome.
There's so much to do, isn't there, Harley?
So much. I'm going to have to get off and start doing some of it now, I think.
No, I'm the same, mate. I'm the same. Yeah. I've got to clear the garage. I've been promising to do that for months.
Oh, great. Adult things, huh?
Yes, exactly.
Wonderful.
So,
okay,
Harley, it's been absolutely wonderful to talk to you. I miss you still.
I miss you too, man. It's good that I can hear your voice gently in my ear.
Good luck with your birds.
Well, thank you, mate. There's just some birds in it.
Yeah, exactly what I mean. He's a bird magnet. To everybody out there listening, stay listening to local music, stay listening to original music. We do have our Spotify playlist and our Instagram account where we do link to great local artists doing great things. We've also got a brand new game on our page, on our Facebook page. If you just go to facebook.com/Harley and Josh, there are loads of games there to keep you occupied if you're a social media junkie, as well as our new GIF game, which I created the other day, which is it's basically like a small video of lots of different artists from around here, and it constantly goes around in a loop, and if you press pause, it'll show you a brand new artist you've never seen before, and you can find them on our Spotify playlist. So have a game of it, you know what I mean?
Definitely. Okay then, well, you stay safe, Josh.
You too, mate.
Great band.
We'll see you again soon.
I'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.